Abortions, Margaret Sanger, and the Eugenics movement. Good life, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another show here at No Holds Barred. But before we start the show, we know what we always do. For those who want to silence your voice or keep you from speaking the truth, or at least questioning the status quo, the look. And now that we got that out the way, ladies and gentlemen, of course, we're going to keep it sharp. We're going to keep it clean. And again, I want to welcome you back to another show here at No Holds Barred. I'm your host, Maurice Hunt, aka Duke. This show is powered by Trackbox Studio. I want to give a shout out to my cuddy, Main out in Youngstown, Ohio. He doing his thing, making come-ups. This video, if you can, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, press the like button, share this video, because this is going to be a hot topic right here. This is going to be a topic that is very much needed. And apparently, this particular topic on abortion, it's not being looked at with an open mind, with a moral mindset, and with a way of simply saying, is this what we want for humanity? Is this what we want for our future offspring? There's a website that I challenge each and every one of you to go to. It's called numberofabortions.com. This is a site where it gives you a live clock of abortions happening as we speak. These numbers are important because it shows the amount of bloodshed and death within babies that never even get a chance. Abortions really set home to my heart, and it has a place in my life where I can't speak on it just yet, but I want to eventually come around to what I call a testimony. And I will be sharing that in another video with you, the viewers. I just want to make sure that I show respect to each individual that it might, apply to as far as bringing this conversation about. So I will let you know in the future if I got the clearance to do so. Number of abortions. The abortion counters. Each real-time abortion counter is based on the most current statistics for the number of abortions in the United States and the number of abortions worldwide. USabortionclock.org. I'm going to give you these numbers. In the United States today, across the United States of America, we are at 1,672.6, now 0.7, and counting. Let me get up to the mic. I want to make sure that this is properly crispy clear. Last time I had some technical difficulties, which caused me to have poor sound quality, but I want good sound quality for my viewers. The United States, since 1973, which was a unique time in history, which we call Roe v. Wade or Roe versus Wade. Roe versus Wade is when the Supreme Court had ruled that it would be constitutional for women to now have the right to make the conscious decision of aborting a child. Since Roe v. Wade, or since 1973 up to date, there has been 62 million 938,149 aborted children. A staggering number, 62, almost 63 million abortions since 1973. That happened to be the year that yours truly, Maurice Hunt, was born. By Planned Parenthood since 1970, there has been 9,204,478. That's by Planned Parenthood since 1970. By Planned Parenthood this year, they performed 186,901 abortions. In the United States this year, across the board, 435,247 abortions. And in the US this year, after 16 weeks gestation, there has been 20,891 abortions. In the US this year, due to rape or incest, we are at the number 4,221.9. This is due to rape or incest. Black babies since 1973 in the United States. Again, that's Roe v. Wade. Since Roe v. Wade had been ruled in the Supreme Court, we are at 18,881,445.9 aborted black babies. I'm going to say that again. 18,881,446. That's where we are now. It just ticked. Worldwide, since 1980, we are at 1,620,189,695, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12. It's moving that fast. If you can catch where I'm going with it. Worldwide this year, we're at 20,431 and counting. Worldwide, since I loaded this page and start speaking to my audience, we are at 2,229, 30, 31, 32, and counting, as you see my point. Worldwide today, 77,959. If you can wrap your mind around that, regardless of what the situations were, as I stated earlier, this year due to rape or incest is at 4,221.9. Worldwide since the 80s, we're talking 1,620,189,788. That's a staggering number when we're talking about destroying not only life, but babies. We're going to get into the history in a little bit. We're going to talk about the woman who coined the term Planned Parenthood. She go by the name, well, she's no longer with us. She go by the name Margaret Sanger. She's the Planned Parenthood founder tied to the eugenics and racism. So you would ask yourself the question today, in today's climate, as we are so amplified on racism, skin color, and bigotry, why would we partake in such a program strategically organized by a racist woman in the name of Margaret Sanger to allow us to participate, or I should say welcome us, our people, to participate in destroying our own offspring? We need to not do this. We need to reject this. We need to rebuke this. And we need to mentally separate ourselves from this movement, because from what it looks like, it's been set up to self-destroy our people. So right now, and this is USA Today reporting that they want to remove the statues of Margaret Sanger. I'd say it's good to know our history. Why is that a good thing to you that they remove Margaret Sanger's statue? Because the way I see it, they want to erase history, and I don't think that that's good. Because once they take that woman out of the equation, what it then do is welcome you more, especially the upcoming generation who don't know history or is just completely blind or just turned off by wanting to hear things that might eventually fall into the category of conspiracy theory. Again, this woman by the name of Margaret Sanger, she's getting, ironically, a lot of praise in certain parts of the wiki as I read that, she's praised or admired for certain things that she's done. She even was praised by Hillary Clinton, which is very bizarre because she was asking for our black vote. That goes to show the level of ignorance that we have across the spectrum, period. For those identifying historical figures with racist roots who should be removed from public view because of their evil histories, Planned Parenthood's founder, Margaret Sanger, must join that list. Fine, throw her in the list, but don't delete her from history, because once you do that, those who need to know will not know the grim truth and reality behind this. Margaret Sanger, she promoted birth control. She advanced a controversial Negro Project. I'm going to say that again, Negro Project. And she wrote her autobiography about speaking to Ku Klux Klan groups and advocated for a eugenics approach, to breed for the gradual suppression, eliminating eventual extinction of defective stocks, those humans, weeds, which threaten to bloom of the finest flowers of American citizen or civilization, So in other words, what she was saying is that certain races, certain bloodlines were not worthy of reproduction and therefore should have been eliminated. But she also promoted those genes or those who had appeared in their view or in their vision deemed worthy for reproduction, those with good bloodline, royalty, white, blue eyes, blonde hair, the whole white supremacist type of description is what she was going for. This is insane. Margaret Sanger's Planned Parenthood mission in 1939, she wrote a letter to Dr. C.J. Gamble. Sanger urged him to get over his reluctance to hire a full-time Negro physician, as the colored Negroes can get closer to their own members and more or less lay their cards on the table, which means their ignorance, superstitions, and doubts will be cleansed In other words, there would be no doubt. Put a black face in there, which she strongly advocated to, it would bring about more blacks. Black faces welcome black faces. So that's where you are with that. A lot of that is being practiced today, just to keep it 100. A lot of that is being practiced today. Let me try to keep it moving because the Washington Post also reports the same thing about removing the statue, and then it goes on to talk about the history of this woman, Margaret Sanger, and her Eugenics movement, or the Negro Project, which advocated, or which was basically about destroying the black race in a subtle, strategic manner. Because in her mind, we were like roots of the earth and was something of ugly or should not be worthy of reproduction. Margaret Sanger, for those who don't know, she was born in 1879. Slavery was well and alive and blooming. 1879, she was born in Cumming, New York. She died September the 6th, 1966, in Tucson, Arizona. This is on the wiki. Information. Feed your mind, ladies and gentlemen. Black America, feed your mind. A lot of this stuff you guys already heard or is aware of, but you want to turn a blind eye because you want to run away from the grim truth. The whole boogeyman is coming, so put the cover over your, or put the blanket over your head, and the boogeyman will go away. Type scenario. Grow up from that. And it's time to have this discussion. I think that, let me get not off topic, but let me digress, or let me expand on where I'm going with this. What I'd like to see happen, not just in Black America, but across the board, is that we get our moral compass back and we start to educate the young and each other, and we start to go back to good morals, good family value. Don't turn our backs anymore. It's time to turn back around and face the anti-family, the destruction of family mindset. And it's time to challenge that movement straight on. And this is a movement. I call it a movement because I can remember, and I'm going to just say this real quick. I grew up in a time where TV shows were very, very family oriented and they were wholesome. You know, I'm not going to name off all the TV shows, but just go back in the 70s and the 80s where family shows were warm, welcoming, and lovely. Families can gather around and they can sit with family right after dinner or at the dinner table. And it gave you that sensation that love was good, family was good. In today's world, we have a culture or a system that is conditioning the mind that when you see a show today, it depicts that young teenager and the parents are horrible, they don't understand, and I hate you, run up the room and storm to your bedroom and slam the door. And the parents just sit there and look stupid. Okay? It's time to combat that type of behavior and get back to the responsibility of parental guidance in the household. The man should return back to the home. Stop running from your responsibilities. I mean, we're all young at some point, dumb and ignorant, or we undermine or we don't listen to our parents. I've been there before, and I regret it, and I'm paying for that sinful page in my book. I've paid for it, I should say, and that's the reason why I can speak to you today with a humble mind and open heart and tell you about this. We can get better at this. So that's something that I'd like to see us get back to, because that will alleviate this whole destruction of senseless. Our culture, it glorifies shaking your butt half naked. That's the women. The men glorify, how many numbers you got, how many girls you took home that night, how much stuff, how many chains you got on your neck and stuff. I hate to stereotype, but this is some of the poison that we're being fed that kind of parallels eventually to the destruction of unwedded sex and unwedded babies being born and not cared for or aborted, for that matter. So we touched on Roe v. Wade. So we talked about the eugenics and stuff. So eugenics, real quick, I'm gonna try to wrap this up. Eugenics again, so that we know there were two types of eugenics. There was positive eugenics, which had the goal of improving the human race by encouraging those with desirable traits to breed. In contrast, negative eugenics focused on reducing degenerate offspring by preventative measures, which had undesirable traits, so they wanted to stop them from breeding. Okay? And under the light, that pointed directly towards blacks. All right, ladies and gentlemen, look, I'm going to be just straight up honest, and I'm going to give you what my mind thinks about this whole thing about the abortion. I think that this has been a system that has been so masterminded and so uniquely done to where the way it's organized and the way we've been conditioned that this is just a normal thing. It, imagine just hearing about this for the first time, that you got the option to actually kill your own baby. And I'm gonna use that word like I want to use it. Kill your own baby. Because that's what you're doing essentially. I mean, let's not run away from it. Don't pull the covers over your head, because the boogeyman is still there. So, I mean, imagine hearing that for the very first time. How distraught, how shocked, and how appalled, and how disgusted, and how scary it would be to be told that you can do that. You would think that Frankenstein is trying to perform an operation on you. So you would reject it. I think that this is part of a bigger, broader master plan. And I'm going to tell you why. Think about this for a minute. Whites, and this can be a debate, this can be arguable. Who has the most sexual drive between whites and blacks? Or I'm going to go with us. I'm going to go with blacks. We have the most sexual drive because we glorify this type of thing. It's what's on the table, especially if you have sexual cravings, like a lot of us do. It's a normal thing. However, what's not normal is being careless with it. It's just doing things senselessly. Okay, so ask yourself this question. And of course, I like to be factual and I like to read statistics. So I'm going to go back to the Google and the Wiki. African Americans are the second largest racial minority, comprising an estimate of 13.4%. Let me say that number again. We, Black America, we average 13.4%. 13.4% of the population. The white or non-Hispanic or Latino population make up of 61% of the nation's total which the total white population, including white Hispanics and Latinos, we're talking white skin now. That's a comparative of 77%. That's the number that they came up with there, according to the wiki. So at 13.4%, which is a very, very low number compared to 77% or even 61%, 13.4% versus 61% of pure white or Caucasian, and then they factor in white Hispanics and Latinos, bringing it up to 77%. One would ask, perhaps abortion is contributing to that low number? And let's expand on that small number of 13.4%. It's not low like that just because we were brought over here at that small quantity. No, it's that low because we've been systematically, in an organized way, keeping our population small. We've been pretty much self-exterminating. And that's all based off of our mindset. You know, our mindset is what gets this number at 13.4%, because it don't have to be that low. It doesn't have to be that low. So again, let's go back to the amount of abortions, for example, this year. In the United States today, 1,744.6 abortions today. Imagine, I mean, I don't have the number to segregate as far as ethnicity go. Black, white, Hispanic, Asian, Russian. 1,745 today. Imagine how many blacks among that number. You know, that right there alone, that number alone today, if the majority is, or a high percentage is, black, imagine if you take that percentage and average that percentage every single day from today on back to 1973. Whatever that percentage is, imagine if we did not abort those children since 1973. We would lose a large number due to other events, maybe, you know, high blood pressure, heart attack, violence in the streets. But the point is, if you take the percentage of whatever that number is and take it all the way back to 1973 and take that number percentage-wise and bring it up to what the population today is of Black America, which is, what did I say it was, 13.4% plus whatever the percentage dating back in 1973. That number can only be significantly higher. So it looks to me that when you speak white supremacy, or when you speak that type of language, perhaps we see it that way because we've been killing off our own offspring. I don't believe that no one else is to blame on this aspect but ourselves. So we say white people this, white people that, white people are superior or supremacists. Maybe it don't have to be that if the playing field was equal percentage-wise. We did this to ourselves, is what I'm saying. So the question now is, how do we get better at that? Or what do we do to fix that? That's a small number, 13.4%. But in fixing that number, if we were to increase that 13.4%, is it welcoming? Let's say if we brought it up to 28, 38%, maybe 40%. Factor in the amount of violence that we do among this nation at a high rate. Would that bring about even more violence? Not necessarily. And this is where teaching comes in, and not letting indoctrination take over our lifestyle. We can't allow indoctrination to intervene whatever we teach in our household. We can reject that stuff. We can fight against it. They're doing it now. The parent conferences and stuff. They're storming the schools right now with the whole race baiting and you get me. So, anyways, ladies and gentlemen, look, I kept you long enough. This is gonna be definitely another video. Like I said, I have a testimony that I'd like to bring in parallel to this topic. So the whole moral of this is that we can grasp hold of this, and we can undo a lot of stuff going forward. We don't have to abort our children senselessly. We don't have to use abortion as a contraceptive, which is the new norm, which is the new trendy way of America. We have to reject that type of ideology and that mindset. We have to rebuke that type of behavior. It is not of God. It is not moral. It is not normal. But what is normal is practicing good behavior, education, influence of good from good relatives, family members, or friends. Being proactive and not reactive. In other words, just put a lid on it. Put a lid on it. You know, don't be so loose and careless with this. Get back to men especially, get back to being responsible. Don't just go and laying down with any woman that you was able to manipulate her mind, lay down and then run away from responsibility once you carelessly or on purpose, because you don't care about life, lay down and do that to that woman and then run away from your responsibility. Women, stop letting this stupid stuff happen to you. And stop having the excuse wide open like it's okay because the simple fix is just go get an abortion, when you know your whole life is ahead of you. Get a hold of this. Get a hold of this. We can do it. We can do it. But the way we're going to do it is to not sit up there and try to silence people's voice who's bringing awareness to this stuff. Because I care. I care. This stuff matters. This matters to our culture. It matters to our future. It matters to our children. Because what kind of message are we going to send to our children if no one like myself speaks up? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm out of here. Subscribe to this video, share this video, hit the like button. Let's try to make this type of message go viral. Let's spread this word, because we're going to get on track, but you have to be willing to open up the doors of conversation. This has been No Holds Bars, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Duke, aka, that is how I go by, but the name you can call me by is Maurice Hunt, and you'll be seeing more of me. Wrap up.